Well, it's been a real weird day. I ate plenty of food last night, and I ate plenty of food today. I've even been eating some fruit. This damn dog ate my whole chair, and I'm not happy about it. It was all knocked over and stuff. This dog is mad at me because I won't let him uh, uh, be with my little puppy because he tries to hump her. And she just turned fertile, so she's going in for sterilization Monday. But I've been alone then out here. She's trapped inside. I have to be careful when I open the door. I gotta make sure she doesn't escape the house. She's a little escape artist. She's super fast. I can't stop her. She's not a well-trained dog in that sense. She's also a very young dog still. So I don't know. I would love to have a dog trainer work with her. She's not a normal dog to me. She's so weird, and so I think I don't understand her as well, to be honest, just because of her weird dynamic. I mean, puppies her age, yeah, they're still a little spazzy people, but I think she's going to be spazzy for a long time. Hi, black-faced dog. Get out of here. Just threw a piece of wood at a dog. That is not a nice thing to do, but that's the dog right there that wants to impregnate my tiny chihuahua. And I think it would be bad for her health to have puppies by a big dog, and I think there's enough puppies in the world anyway. So I'll take her to town in the van, which is a big mess. I have a crate for her to ride in that just keeps her from getting in any trouble while we're driving. And she was more okay with it last time. I think that was her second time to town. Can't remember. But she's getting more used to things. I think that just because she's a spazzy little weirdo, she has a big reaction to anything new, and she's frightened of it often. She barks at people inappropriately. Like two people were here the other day, and she barked quite extensively at them. And I think it was because there was two of them. Because sometimes one person will visit me, and she just, I don't know, she sees it differently. I can't tell. Because she had met one of the guys before, and he had been here alone. And I don't know. She eventually calmed down, but she wasn't real friendly to him. She didn't want to get petted or anything. And that's not good for a dog that lives in a social location. Okay. Okay. There we go. And it was a tiring day. I did walk around quite a bit. Actually, I walked down to the southwest west gate, and that was mainly where I walked. And then I walked, I think I walked over those, yeah, I did walk those gardens over there. I think there should be chairs at destinations. Any more destinations with chairs? Places one would walk to, and that there should be chairs along the way and at the destination. So I've talked before about outdoor furniture. Uh, the metal stuff is the best currently, but it would be cool to even make bigger sitting spots. Although now with social distancing, one of my video themes lately has been designing for permanent social distancing, except among the people that you are kind of immunologically banded with for whatever the rules of that group are. And those can vary widely. I'm not promoting a particular thing. I'm definitely against forcing people like to do things and taking their bodies over. And there's a bunch of ethical issues, but some of it's real basic, and that is that the state, the government, will always be in a struggle with other powerful entities, you know, and in a friendship. But the primary struggle will be to make sure that most people keep them in power. So if somebody was going to get on somebody's side, it's usually not political leaders that really care about the people. And after the revolution happens, if there was a revolution, then the wrong people take charge. You might as well start planning your second revolution before you finish even planning your first. How are you going to avoid the usual, almost inevitable takeover by other violent forces when you get rid of the official one? And of course, there's a bunch of people with arms that switch from one to the other. I mean, that's how it ends up. Go with the winner. So the geographical type of things that this has occurred with in the past for all of history and all places, right here, you know, and in Europe, of course, and in Africa, and this is pre-white man too. Asia, of course, Genghis Khan may have done a few things. He's the most genetically um, successful, if you think in terms of success of the genes. His genes passed themselves on using him and his armies more than any other person on the entire planet. A huge percentage of Earth's population have DNA from Genghis Khan. I probably don't, because I did have my DNA sequenced, and it was exactly as expected. It was, Western Europe, and then a little German, and there's something else odd up there. I forget. Uh, and then the funny thing was there was a little country in the Nook African. I got to go look up what the name of it is, because now maybe it should be my favorite African country. Although I already had one, and I've never been there, but it sounds real nice. I met some nice people from there. Also, Ethiopia is really cool. I want to go there. But anyway, it's not over there. It's down in the little, kind of where it turns and has like a little armpit or something. I'm sure that's, that's not the analogy I want to make. In the nook, the little nook that's in there. Uh, and it started with an N. It wasn't somewhere big. I mean, I know the names of several countries in there. Nairobi's in there somewhere, and uh, Kenya's on the other side. My African history is pretty weak. Um, but overall, I bet I could kick most people's asses in a geography competition. In fact, I've got a great idea about having a competition of people with whoever recording their screen as they take a geography quiz, and they can't see each other's screens. And we do a screen recorder, and we do a screen recorder of their face and their reactions when they either get immediate feedback, depending on the website, or they see the end of the test and they see their score, and then they don't say their score out loud. Maybe don't say your score out loud at the end. If we're doing these kind of quizzes, somebody could come around and they could take a picture of each person with that screen and their score, and then we could post those online as kind of an online show. And the thing is that what I like about it is that I want competitions to be for positive things. Um, the Amazing Race is probably the number one example of that I know of. The show, The Amazing Race on television. I've seen. I don't know if I've seen the latest years, but I like it because they're almost always focused on a positive thing. They do something to kind of show off the culture, and they don't have a lot of time to do it. So I don't know if they always do that elegant a job on that, but that's not the point of the show. It's not a travel show. They give you a cool glimpse or two of some area that you've probably never been to and never go to. And then they give these people these ridiculous tasks of various sorts. And the teams, I like it that they're not against each other. In fact, they often show a lot of sympathy for each other and they'll even help each other out. Like somebody will yell out of a car, no, it's that way. And sometimes they'll be lying and sometimes they won't be. But it's really fun to watch it when people cooperate for, a cool goal. It's fun, like a treasure hunt. Here's what I don't like about it, The Amazing Race, is it is an ecological nightmare. Oh, could you do it worse? Oh my God. First of all, skip all the flying. Learn to make the show lean and mean. You're already working on that. You know what you're doing. But a whole bunch of things are going to get way, way, way easier for everybody if you listen to this idea. You could do, for example, the Amazing Race just around the Lake Pátzcuaro area. You could only use land travel, and you could use professional land travel as desired. Also, the public taxi system is excellent, although some of them drive kind of fast for me, but I'm not a good passenger, really. I don't like to go in cars. Uh, the buses are awesome, not during this pandemic particularly, but normally they're like airplanes, and you can just load onto them. You can put your stuff under them. There are production team people around you can hire, and I would love to have. In fact, I should do this. This should be a to-do item for me. Is specifically send videos to anyone involved in video production in the area. Send them any videos I have that I like, and make some in Spanish, even though it's painful for people to listen to probably. But you know, I could talk about the things I know about, and I know the words about that, so my vocabulary is good for certain topics. Um, but it would be really fun to like invite. In fact, if I really want to kind of expand media-wise, Lake Pátzcuaro, it'd be really fun to invite um, pretty much anybody with a camera. Anybody who wasn't totally annoying. I wouldn't want to promote fast tourism, but rather slower tourism. Like walking from this place to that place, or any kind of hike we can do. Um, I should actually go down to there's a town I can see over there. There's two of them, and they share a hill that's really cool. And I don't know how presumptuous to be, but I mean, maybe I should make a video, or I should just go down and talk to somebody who knows everybody, the mayor or the person mostly in charge, and or people, and say, hey, by the way, I just have this vision for the hell of it of this hill right here. There's this cool hill, and they could make spiral. They could use a bulldozer. They could make spiral one lane roads all the way up to the top and then all the way down to the bottom. Now, I said one lane road, and you thought I was talking about something for cars. Well, that makes sense. I'm just trying to give you an idea about how wide I want it. And that, can vary. But the truth is, I don't want cars going up and down it. It would ruin the place. And if you plant it right, and if you control the way your water goes correctly, then you could actually capture water off this road really well into ponds and let it soak into the ground, so you make sure you don't lose any water. The other thing you do is plant trees all over the place, and do that in a way that it's sculpted for the view, because that particular hill is right across the lake, just a very short distance to a place called Pacanda. It's very close by. And I imagine on this hill there could be a couple of sculptures or something. Not a big sculpture. I think it's ridiculous to have these monumental efforts to make huge sculptures. I like Gasworks Park. That has a really nice metal cast. I don't know if it's bronze or what, but top of it. Or maybe it was concrete. I forget. But it was sculpted something. And it made a really nice top to the hill. I was always a little confused by it. I didn't know about the sundial too well. I think there's a sundial. And I think you're supposed to stand there and you're the sundial, but then doesn't your height matter? So I was a little confused, but that's okay. I've been up there so many times because I used to be at University of Washington, and I like walking. And there's festivals there, and you meet your friends there. Gasworks Park is a great park. It could use more trees carefully planted. So what I'm suggesting for this hill, which is mostly just has scrub brush, it does not have real big trees, is to, at the base of it, anywhere that anyone wants to accept a tree, in the first week of July only, and a black oak, native trees that I think will have a great chance of success at growing, and that I've had relationships with over time, and I think are useful. I could even give them cedar seeds, but I'd want to warn them about cedar and how it works. Actually, I'd give seeds more than a rockworrow. Anyway, the trees would be selected with great caution, and the bushes too, on that hill then. And you plant all the kinds of nopales you can possibly get a hold of, all the kinds of agaves you can possibly get a hold of, any kind of plant that's not invasive and good. that you can plant, you could plant it. You could just overplant it, and if some stuff died, you could write that down and have video and photo documentation and stuff. But this is very different than here. It's down by the lake. It's going to be colder in a way because the cold air sinks into the lake. Um, you could at the top do something else, but I'd hate to see a building up there. I think it might be useful to have dug into the hill. This is a bunch of work. Um, some toilets. That might be interesting, or just low profile. So somewhere on some part of it, have a spot that has some services, I guess. Not too far from the top, because if enough people came, you'd also end up doing it at the bottom. But at the bottom, you got lots of options. Well, you should think about that too, right away. Down at the bottom, do you have people park a ways away and then they have to walk to the hill? I love that. That also allows the community to have more businesses that sell to these people who want to go to the top of the hill. That's a very simple thing. It doesn't look much like a volcano from this angle, and I think the one that has a dimple in it that's like an auditorium is actually on the left. So you could take either of those small volcanoes and design them so that they would be a delightful experience. Basically, make them into a park. They'd be a delightful experience for people who were born there, and they'd be prouder of their place, and they would learn to reproduce seeds and plants, and they could maybe even sell them. Like I have plants that I'm reproducing, but I got a lot of land I want to fill, and once but if somebody else is just reproducing it on a consistent basis, and they're really trying to make it grow quickly and stuff like that, and they've got a nice way to take care of it, then it would be easy to imagine that small towns could have viveros. And I would much rather see, especially for species that are useful, like for food security and stuff like that, um, I would much rather see any kind of nursery activity than a lot of other kinds of industry, you know. And I'd warn them about fertilizer. I don't think you need to fertilize stuff much. Now, I would suggest they do side by side tests and that they take pictures and make video. I don't do a lot of those side by side tests, testing fertilizer. I did a little bit on tomatoes because I really want tomatoes. And I bought some fertilizer, and we'll see what the effect of that is. I didn't do a good test though because I didn't document it, so now I kind of forgot where stuff is, and some tomatoes did better than others, and I don't know why. But usually, the reason I don't do a lot of experiments with fertilizers, and I'm talking about ones that say 10 10 10 on them or whatever. They got a nitrogen thing, a chemical thing, and it could all be just minerals from the earth. But it's still, even if it was a natural mineral from the earth from somewhere else, I wouldn't want to use it because that's not the right way to do agriculture. That's still gasoline fueled agriculture, and you're not developing soil that is naturally full of as much life and producing for you. You're replacing really critical functions in a very complex system. Now, that doesn't mean I'm morally against fertilizer, but fertilizer can come in many forms. It could be animal poo. That's the best one. The best, because I have stuff that I want animals to eat, actually. I would love it if they did. Like rabbits were very helpful. Now, I think I want more than one pen, for sure. And I don't know if they have to be near each other or not. There's temptation to make a whole rabbit farm, and I need to design that, certainly. But couldn't I just for a while have a courtyard that I know I can keep predators out of? Because I've had problems with predators and rabbits, a fox or something goes in and kills rabbits, or who knows what's out there in the nighttime. I need a trail camera. Um, can't even protect my own chair against a visiting dog who got pissed off at me, so he ate my chair. Yeah, like foam all over the ground. Look at this. That came out of the chair. You know what I'm doing now? Still sitting in the chair. that's how low I've gone. Ah, there's my nice chair. Isn't it a beauty? I think I'll do a video about dogs and walls and things.